August 8th, 2023, Lahaina had a huge fire, and I lost the Lucy, lost all my art supplies, lost 50 years of my art career. So my name is Darice Machel McGuire. I've been an artist for 50 years. I didn't know I was an artist until one day I was doing a plein air painting on Kings Beach during an art show. They always have art shows on the weekends there. And a little boy, I was painting, and I hear this little boy's voice saying, "Look, Dad, there's a real artist." And I kind of stopped and turned around, and I just smiled because that was the day I realized I was a real artist. And it was documented by a little 8-year-old boy. I started teaching about 35 years ago along with my mother. She used to do children's art classes on weekends. And one weekend, she had so many kids that she couldn't handle them all. So she pulled me out of the frame shop and asked for my help. She gave me the difficult students, which was very, I guess it was like trial by fire. The first Lucy I bought was probably in 2012, I want to say. And I found it online, and I thought this was a great tool to use for some of my students who are scared to death of drawing. And so I purchased it. I was in Maui at the time, and my first painting I did with it, or the first subject, was a Lahaina harbor scene that had a boat in the foreground and then boats in the background. And it was a great tool. I was able to get the sketching in. At that time, I hadn't done a lot of boats, so I was a little bit nervous of my skills for drawing boats. So the Lucy really helped in getting that dynamic down, those shapes and so on. Then I've used it with various students, and they were able to sketch out things that they were working on for painting projects and stuff. Since I'm mainly a painting teacher, I teach acrylics and oils. That was my main focus, and helping students get over the fear of drawing is a big challenge, because almost all of the students come in and say, "I can't draw. I can't draw. I don't know how to draw." And I'm always trying to relax and say, "That's okay. You don't have to know how to draw. You can just do line work. You can just do sketches." And then the Lucy really helped in helping them figure out that they don't have to do every tiny detail. They could just do an outline of the main subject, and that would be fine for their project. August 8th, 2023, Lahaina had a huge fire. And at that time, my art studio and my husband's print shop was in Lahaina, and we both lost both of those. I lost the Lucy, lost all my art supplies, lost 50 years of my art career, and books, all of my portfolios, all of my newspaper clippings, everything. The Lucy, everything burned up in the fire. It was pretty traumatic, and right now it's been 1 year, 1 month since the fire. My husband and I have relocated to Grass Valley, and we have reestablished our businesses here. 3 of the galleries I was in burned down. One of the galleries was the oldest gallery in Hawaii. It started 52 years ago, 53 years ago now. And the owner of that gallery still owned the gallery. She is now rebuilding and will be opening a new gallery by December. Anyway, the horror of everything that was going on was surreal. It was hard to wrap our heads around, because you don't expect to lose a community. A house maybe, or 2 houses, but a whole community, churches, buildings, businesses, you know, and it was all gone. And then the lack of communication was very stressful. There was nobody knew anything. We had one of our artist friends, a client of my husband's. He ended up in the ocean for 10 hours. Uh, you know, just story after story after story that the tragedy and the trauma is still there, and people are still suffering, and it's still very hurtful. There was housing problems there before the fire. The fire exacerbated it by 1,000%. People were camped out at beaches. They're still camping out at beaches, just trying to find places for them, for families and individuals. It's been a very big challenge over there. I know that over 4,000 people in Lahaina have moved off the island, mainly because they have no jobs, they have no housing. The economy has tanked over there. It's all of the businesses, even on the other side of the island, have been feeling it. The other islands, Hawaii, Oahu, Kauai, all of the other islands have been feeling it. It's just been one of the most horrific things I've ever lived through. So after the fire, almost immediately, I started getting emails from students. I have students from all over the world that would come to Maui and take classes from me. And I have people constantly insisting that they had to send me art supplies because they knew I lost everything. And I kept telling them, no, don't send me anything because I don't have any place to put it. You know, my condo was a mess. I kept trying to put people off and not letting people help. And because I felt other people needed the help more than I did. Then I finally, after about a couple of weeks, I relented and I started letting people help. And that was tough. So the first thing was one of the artists that was from Kihei. She brought me a big tub of canvases. And another friend of mine from, a student of mine from Australia, she sent me incredible paints, acrylic paints and brushes from Australia. Another friend of mine sent me a huge box full of art supplies, just anything and everything. So Les from Draw Lucy had contacted me, wanting me to upgrade my review I did on his website years ago. And I mentioned I couldn't because I didn't have anything anymore. At that point, he didn't realize I was part of Lahaina, the Lahaina fire. He then sent me a lot of wonderful things. He sent me the Lucy and the Flex Lucy, both those. He sent me a set of drawing pencils and watercolors. I've been using those things like crazy. So this painting is a commission painting that a gentleman emailed me, and he wanted to buy a painting. I explained to him that all my paintings were gone, about 900, approximately 900 paintings destroyed. And I told him I'd be happy to paint him something. So he emailed me with photos and said he wanted the banyan tree and Pioneer Inn, with this part of the Pioneer Inn as being part of the focus because this was his favorite ice cream place, which happened to be mine and Charlie's favorite place too. Every Friday night, we went here to Banyan Treats to have ice cream. All of this area right here, the tree, this whole corner, is all gone. It's been a hard journey working on this painting. I started it about 2 months ago. And the hardest part of it is knowing that this place doesn't exist anymore. There's a lot of artists who can just make up things in their heads and do all that kind of stuff, and I think that's absolutely amazing. But when you're documenting a piece of history, This it is a very important painting for him, for me. It's kind of a healing process, even though it's been very challenging. And he was very gracious in allowing me to take 3 months to paint this, which gives me time to kind of work through my emotions. The generosity and the love that has poured through to Lahaina and everyone in Lahaina has been phenomenal. It's um, it's just very heartwarming and affirming that people are good. I mean, people are good.